So is there anybody here that met somebody new and would like to tell us about that person in 30 seconds or less? Anyone find anyone interesting to introduce? No? This is a networking event, and I love Marcia said this in the past. If you're here and you haven't met someone, you're fucking up. There's a whole bunch of people that are really interested in things. There's a wall at the back called the Fuckup wall, and we started this a little while ago, and we post them. And if anyone wants to claim this, they're welcome to, but sometimes they're quite funny. One last time was they did the eulogy at the wrong funeral. Somebody did the eulogy at the wrong funeral. So here's one here. If the person's in the room and wants to share it, great. If you don't and you want to dip your head a little bit, I'm cool. They showed up in China looking for a manufacturer. They almost got kidnapped. I can see how that happened. I was drunk in Beijing once. That's a whole other story. Somebody else here ate a weed chocolate by accident before an important meeting with the new New York City ad CEO. No one wants to claim that, I get it. Sending something unofficial via email. We've all done that. I told you about my business partner. Said some really bad things about him to him. And who else has anyone here ever showed up a day late for the first day on their job? You want to share? How'd it go over?
They were okay with that.
They were cool?
They were cool.
It's tech. We're good. So thanks for everybody's participation. Our next speaker, I'm going to single him out for a second. Matt, can you stand up? Turn around and face the crowd.
Please stand up.
This is Matt Martin. He's a friend of mine. This is my wife's crush.
Surprise!
So much so that there's the Big Bang Theory, the one character can't talk when women are around. So my wife would come up to see Matt and she would just giggle and hug him. So 2 years ago when I proposed, I had Matt propose to her and ask if she would marry me.
True story.
That's a fun fact. It's all on video if anyone wants to see it later. I do not share it publicly, but it's awesome. He came in singing a song. Second fun fact, Matt is also a budding country singer. He released his first single in May. In the past few weeks, it's reached the top 40 on SiriusXM CBC Country. And this week, it hit 100,000 streams on Spotify. And his third fun fact, he used to love playing a lot of different sports, but now he can't because he tore his ACL twice since he turned 30, so he's a big old fuck up. Matt Martin.
Thank you, Jeff. How's your marriage?
Good.
All right, so as you can see, I've been fucking up from a very young age. This is quite funny. I did not plan this. As you can see, my fuck up is all over my face here. Today, I just recently moved into a new condo. I was rushing to trim up my beard a little bit. I don't know anybody in the front row. Can you tell me, how does my beard look? Yeah. It's a little uneven, perhaps a bit blotchy. I should have shaved it off, but I didn't for you guys. It could look a lot worse. I was rushing and I was trimming with an electric shaver, and I did the classic, whoops, nice little hole. And of course I was so committed to keeping my beard, because I always have a beard, that I went on for probably 45 minutes, trimming, not sure if it's looking good, the lighting's not great, it's getting shorter and shorter, and I start laughing, realize I'm going to Fuckup Nights with a fucked up beard, so I might as well just let it be what it is. So here we are. So I grew up on, a little background on me, I grew up on a 200-acre farm near Kitchener-Waterloo. Sorry, not Kitchener-Waterloo, Fergus, Elora area, so about half an hour from here. And life for me was about being free-spirited, running around on my bare feet, building tree forts and playing in the creek. It's a true country boy. And I hated structure. So kids camps, crafts, hate crafts. Don't invite me to anything with crafts. Fast forward to my teenage years, and I learned how to play guitar at age 14. So most of my high school years consisted of taking really cool pictures in front of brick walls with my bandmates. Look at my cool bass player. So angsty. Anyways, by the time I got to the end of high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. My parents have a Mennonite background, and so farming community, they only went to grade 8. And so for me, they didn't speak from that experience, and they never pushed me to pursue anything after high school other than whatever my heart desired. And so when 18 came around, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so I ended up in a sales job rambling through a friend, which very quickly drove my curiosity when I saw these young entrepreneurs building this business. And there was something about it that sparked an interest in me. And being the independent person that I was, I went home and I just started researching on Google. And that led to buying books and taking courses online, lots of courses online. And for a good 3.5, 4 years, I continued in sales. And outside of sales, other than the odd beer, hanging out with friends, I was doing a lot of stuff online, learning how the online world worked. Fast forward to age 24, a lot of fuck-ups along the way, by the way. But fast forward to age 24, and I quit my job, which at that time was cabinet building. I was cabinet building for my uncle in St. Jacobs. And I quit my job to dive in full-time to this new company that my cousin and I started called echosims, which was a digital marketing agency. And we had developed a few clients. I'll save the details. But we were confident enough to have me jump in full-time to drive that business. It was awesome. I had a ton of experience, as I described. I had played around a ton online, so I had a lot of experience to draw from. The interesting thing was that this was 2010, and so what we actually started doing, the main service we were delivering to people at that time, was social media management, because Facebook had become big enough that business owners were hearing that they needed to be on social media in order to stay competitive and communicate with their customers. So I actually didn't know anything about that, because I didn't learn about that back when I was 18. This was all new stuff, but we said, hey, sure, these were the kinds of small businesses willing to spend a few $100 here and there on social media. And one of those people is right here, Jeff McIntyre, who is also a big part of developing this business, so thank you, Jeff. Who knows Jeff McIntyre? Okay, I don't have to say much. They're all your cousins. So anyways, that was the base of our business for the most part. And as we continued to grow this business, it was growing at a good, steady pace. We weren't making a lot of money yet because we were bootstrapping. We had a bunch of young people that were caught up in this big vision of where we wanted to go. And so we were willing to take those low salaries at that time. However, by about 1.5 years in, we had enough experience managing social media for these businesses with small budgets to start feeling like, all right, there's only so much we're really doing for these people. This is a lot for them to put this money out, and they want a return on investment, but we're not really able to show that much for what we're doing, and we don't really feel great about it. And as we got in conversations with another guy named David Tubbs, if anybody knows that name from around here, he was working for the Chamber of Commerce at the time, doing a lot of talking about social media. And so we came up with this concept of people would be much more effective if they actually knew how to manage social media themselves. Doesn't mean you can't get some help, but you're the person inside your business, you are the person who knows your customers. You would probably be more effective at creating consistent content, especially if you have a small budget and you're banking on somebody outside the business trying to do that for you. So the concept was this cute little guy, Mere Social. So we used this cute little meerkat as our guy, and we started working on this idea. I should say first, it's important to note that we did go around talking to a lot of people. We were very much into networking at events like this at the time, and So we were excited about this idea, and we would bring it up in conversation a lot, and everybody, young professionals, small business owners would say, yeah, that sounds great. Of course, I would use that. It makes a ton of sense. I should be doing this stuff myself. I just don't know how to do it. And if I had access to the content that would teach me how to do this and it was affordable, that would be great. So we got to work, and Mere Social was essentially a membership website that we were going to build that was cheap and affordable for people to access whenever they wanted and to have engaging content. So the content was what turned out to be 50 videos, good quality videos, that we wrote, I should say David, wrote scripts for, and we shot. And over a period of about a year, we worked on shooting these films, building the brand, building this website, which was all our own resources, our own time, our own money. That was one thing we did have, was some time, because we had a bunch of young people full of piss and vinegar ready to make a dent in the world. And so we built this website, and we were super pumped about it. And again, along the way, over the period of a year, as we were developing new things or had more to show, we would share it with other people around us, and everybody just got more and more excited. As you know, we're in a startup community, so of course, people saw this cool brand and went, oh yeah, that's so cool. The meerkat's so cute. And look at this website. That's so cool. Look, you can move from newborn pup to first foraging, and then yearling, and mature meerkat. And so we were pumped about this, and about a year in, we were ready to release the beta site. And so, because we had this sexy brand and everybody was so excited about it, and there's lots of startups in the area that are people that get pumped about cool startups, we decided to throw a cool event. So we put more of our money into throwing this really cool rooftop party. It was a private party, private event. We invited about 100 people out, and we had live music, and we had a DJ, and we even had this really cool car that matched the color of our logo sitting out front, and people took pictures with it. And it was a hyped up night. It felt great. This was a year of developing something that made so much sense. It looked so good, and everybody was so excited about it. They were all behind it. And at the end of this night, we said to everybody who came out, that we invited out, here is free access to the beta site. And we want you to use it. It's free, it's yours to hang around in as long as you want. All we want is to hear feedback, and especially the successful stories, right? We need some success stories for how they would be using this content to successfully use social media for their business to generate more customers, maintain customers. And so the night was over, and we waited. And we waited. And we could see how many of these users were logging in, which for the first couple days was probably 0. And then maybe by the end of the week we had 1. By the end of 2 weeks, maybe 2. But that was it, literally. There was maybe 2 or 3 out of 100 people who had free access to the site were even logging in to look at this content. Oop. Did I fuck up? I have my guitar here. We talked about this. If there's technical difficulties, we'll just sing a song. I might have bumped. Oh, nice. So, nobody was logging in. Now, we had spent thousands of dollars of our own money that we did not have because echosims was still a very young company, and we were not getting paid well at all the time. And we were putting our own money into this, and literally thousands of hours across a pretty big group of people helping out with this. So this was heartbreaking. But probably worse than all of that was my pride. You know, I had put myself out there, everything looked so good, it felt so good, everything sounded right, everybody was responding right, and then nothing was happening. So years later, I should finish the story, we continued for about a year trying different things to make this work, and we had some insights and possibly could have made it work at some point. The issue was we had to pick and choose what we were willing to risk. And the point was we had a business that was growing steady with real customers, echosims, and we had already put enough on the line at that point. And so after about another year, so about 2 years later after starting this venture, we chose to shut it down. Years later, echosims has now been in business for 9 years and is doing awesome things, serving customers across North America. And I've had some great mentors in my life. And so I've had some good reflections about what happened here. One of the big things that I've learned about is commitment. We are sneaky people. We're good at lying to ourselves. If you look at Mere Social and people who were watching what was happening with Mere Social, they might have thought, wow, Matt's really committed to this idea. He's putting in a lot of work. He's doing good stuff. What I realized is there was something deeper that I was committed to. And it's pretty common for us as people. I was more committed, and I was committed to this, but I was more committed to looking good and being right. And here's what was happening. I had a great idea, and sure, even though we shut it down, it could have become something. It actually could have. The timing wasn't bad, I don't think. But what was happening was I had enough of a vision of what I thought it should be, of how it was going to look. And so when I went out and talked to people, I was selling to people. And as we were developing this thing and we were interviewing people to learn whatever we might need to learn to make this thing successful, I wasn't actually asking good questions. I was asking leading questions. Have people heard about leading questions? Setting it up to hear what I wanted to hear. And ultimately, that's what I got. I looked good and I looked right for about a year. And in the end, the outcome wasn't what I wanted. And I was willing to, without knowing it, risk a business that I had spent years building up experience and getting going and that had a lot of opportunity, and I was willing to risk it for something, some shinier new object. Now, as you know, I've also begun pursuing country music. So here's a flip side view of that same lesson. It's interesting, Marcia, you mentioned at the beginning, if there's people who you don't see fucking up, it's probably because they're too comfortable. So for me, music was something that at a young age I fell in love with. I fell in love with playing guitar, I fell in love with singing, I fell in love with writing music, performing. So it was always something that I had a vision for that I wanted to do more of. And once I started my business, I'd come to a point in my life where I wasn't sure what that looked like. And for a number of personal reasons, I wasn't in a position where I felt confident enough to put myself out there, and in particular play country music, which is interesting because I grew up on a farm, so you'd think it's very relevant. But long story short, I wasn't at the time. And so I was busy making up lots of excuses. And I had lots of friends that knew I played music, and they would invite me to play music at a wedding here and there, all throughout my 20s as I was doing this business stuff. But every time a friend would ask, "How's music going?" I would say the same thing. "Oh, you know, I pick up the guitar every now and then, but I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. And sometime I'll get to it." And I wasn't honestly saying what I was really feeling, that I had this desire to do something bigger with it, like actually big. But I was creating such a big picture of what I wanted to be, I was afraid to step out and do it and fail. And so what was happening was my commitment in that case, unknowingly, was a commitment to comfort, which is kind of like looking good and being right. Not willing to take enough of a risk that I would fail or look bad or stumble along the way. And so what ended up happening is a few years ago, I was actually with my business at a weekend event with a mentor who actually taught me about this commitment topic. And I ended up setting a goal to write and record 3 country songs and put them out there in 1 year. And just go through the experience. Just do it, see how it feels. And so that was something that was a little bit uncomfortable for me, but not too uncomfortable. It was doable. And it's amazing how that commitment now is something that I go out and actually start verbalizing. And as soon as I left that weekend and I was meeting with people, now I wasn't waiting for people to ask me, how's your music doing? I would walk up to people when they'd say, hey, what's up? How's it going? I'd say, oh, things are great. I just set a goal to write and record 3 country music songs in 1 year. We'll see what happens. I might fuck up. Literally, I could feel a sense of it would be okay to fuck up. And it's amazing. Obviously, we don't have time for all the stories, but the types of things that came into my life super quickly, including within a month, taking a flight to Dublin, Ireland, and sitting beside the drummer for Blue Rodeo, who I told what I was doing, and he said, oh, Bob Egan, our steel guitar player, lives in Kitchener. I'll introduce you in the airport, and you can talk to him. And that's how I ended up meeting the person I recorded that first project with. And now here I am, just a few years later, and as Jeff shared, released my first proper single with my second project, and have had some good success on radio and streaming so far, and I'm having a ton of fun, and I'm failing along the way, but I'm doing what I love, and I'm being authentic. Thank you.
Do you see why Lisa loves him? Questions for Matt, and we're going to ask Matt to sing his song before we leave. So it'll be 110,100.
Yes.
Live.
Every 100 counts.
Any questions for Matt about the career, the business, shaving tips? Anyone? Hang on, I'll get you the mic.
Hey, so my question is, how did you have so much confidence at such a young age to just dive in and go for it?
I think it was just, they say you're formed in those early years of your life. What do they say, your first 7 years of your life? I was the middle of 5 kids, and I grew up on a 200-acre farm. And so while I loved being around with people, I was good at being with people, I was also good at, it was my favorite thing to do, heading out in my bare feet to the creek or the tree line and building forts and doing my own thing. So my struggle has been more with structure. When people tell you how to do something, I feel resistance. For me, it's just always been natural, I think, it took me a little longer for the music, but to exist in an uncomfortable space and to get my hands dirty and learn. And so I was curious about something, and the nice thing about computers is you can just go and learn yourself. And so that's what happened.
Other questions?
Sorry, as a prior Meerkat user myself.
Were you now?
Yeah. Well,
What did you
probably
learn?
the guy that logged in and logged out. It was a little cumbersome, but it was an exciting project at the time, I recall. I guess my question for you is, a creative bent myself, how do you find time to give your creative endeavors time over your business? Because obviously you're still involved with echosims, or what was the spelling on there?
Echoisms.
Echoisms. I kind of like it, to be honest.
We get ecosims, ecoisms, ecoslims, ecoslims. We get all types. How do I find the time? Well, I'm single, 33. So Lisa knows that. Sure, that's part of it. I keep busy working on whatever I'm working on. The other thing, it's not necessarily time, but it relates to time, is I surround myself with great people that are bought into a vision that can support me. So whether that's been music or the business, I feel like success has come equally as a result of people around me growing and expanding and me letting go of things. So I feel like I'm busier than ever. Like I'm doing more, especially with music now. I'm doing a lot of things that feel of high importance. But I don't necessarily feel busier than before, if that makes sense.
Was it the goal that made you flip the switch to actually doing it full time? Like, a lot of us have secondary passions, but you do it a little bit here and there and you never really make the jump. So was it that goal setting experience that made the difference for you?
So I'm not doing it full time.
Okay.
to be clear. So I'm still CEO of echosims, which means I'm very busy doing that. In music, for me, I've had to pick and choose my battles. So echosims has stayed the number one important thing. It takes priority. But I was able to start bringing music into the space where I was able to talk about it. One of the things I was afraid of for a long time was having my team be concerned about the fact that I'm talking about music as a thing other than just a hobby. So once I got that out there and recognized that the team was supporting me, and that I would still be committed to treating echosims as an important thing that was moving forward, it's actually interesting. I would say echosims has grown and matured faster now as a result of that, because I'm even more and more interested about having echosims be able to be successful without me. If that makes sense.
You ended kind of happy, and Jeff kind of promised me some of the stories would not have happy endings. So I want to go back to the
Jeff!
the complete destruction of the mirror thing. Sorry, I forget what it's called.
Your social.
Mirror social. So I have a team and a staff, and I know how important that is, especially when you're starting out. So I was curious if you transitioned the Mirror social team to echosims, or how that kind of structure worked out, because it seemed like you had separate teams working on separate projects.
No, so it was the same team.
Oh, you cheater.
Cheated. Yeah, I mean, they were both so relevant. Like I said, echosims started in the social media space, and obviously we were in digital marketing, building websites. We did a little bit of video and that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of the skill sets in-house, and because echosims was still so early, like I said, we weren't getting paid well, and part of that was also because we loved having an awesome team. And so there was people on the team that were bought into the vision of echosims and loved the culture. There was a bunch of us, considering how much we were making at the time. And so we also had time. We had a little extra time. But the issue was we were risking echosims. So obviously putting that much attention into something that big meant that echosims wasn't getting that attention, and it slowed down, and could have been worse. So luckily it is a happy story. In the end, echosims is still here and doing well. Thank you.
Any other questions? Right in the back.
Hi. My question is around, you talked about like the comfort and commitment of your previous business with Mere Social, and how that was maybe part of, the downfall. How, in your business today, do you kind of get ahead of that? Because it can be a tricky thing to recognize. And how do you check in with yourself or with your team or with your customers in order to make sure that you don't run into those issues again?
That's a great question. Sometimes you don't notice for a while till the fuck up happens. That's just part of life, and that's why we're here talking about it. I would say the fastest way, if you can see it, and you get better and better at it once you get to know yourself, you learn your own little tricks. But you look at your results. If you look at the results in your life, if you look at what you have, you'll realize what you are actually committed to. So for me, with Mere Social, I was committed to, we'll say, looking good and being right. And that was, along the way, what I was getting. I wasn't getting much resistance, if anything. I wasn't discovering the hurdles that I should have faced that would have been challenging to build something that could have created the result that I wanted 1 year from now. In the end, I ended up 1 year later with something that I was committed to, and it wasn't the result that I would have liked to have, but I didn't see it until it was too late. With music, I was committed to comfort, so I kept having the same thing. And I think that's a big part of it too, is seeing that if you continue to see the same result over and over and over again, there's something that you're doing consistently that you're committed to, and you've got to get to the source of that and change that, which usually involves discomfort. Great question, thank you.
Awesome questions, everyone. So I feel like that's a good place to end it on the Q&A there. Matt, thank you so much again for sharing your story.
Thanks, everyone. I get to hold the mic. Someone get a picture of this for my wife. All the social tags, if you can follow us, it'd be great. We're obviously looking for amplifying this. Marcia's set this up nicely, and I've accepted the task of taking this to the next level. Save the date for January 27th, location to be determined, but we have a couple really interesting, everyone's a good speaker, we have a couple really interesting, and we're just gonna confirm the venue, and we're gonna go from there. But with that, we finish up the Fuckup Night. Has this happened before? Have you had a, this could be a first. We had a drummer. So does anyone hear Matt sing his song? So just Photoshop me out of the picture or the video.
So Jeff had actually, when he first asked me to do this, he's like, oh, maybe you could do a little something with your guitar. And I was like, yeah, write a funny song. I've been known to do that from time to time. And I've been so busy that I forgot, but I did remember my guitar as I was running out the door. And I totally forgot about this idea of writing a song. So then Jeff asked me in the back there if I wrote something. I said no. But I did come up with a good little diddly. I don't know how to play on a guitar yet, so I'm just gonna sing it for you. Will you sing it with me? You can hum along. Why are you running away? It's gonna be like 2 seconds. My name is Matt, and I'm a fuck up. My name is Matt, and I fucked up. I fucked up so many times, I still can't even tell you why, but somehow I keep on fucking up. Sounds like a nursery rhyme.
I hope your single's better.
I hope so too. So this is the, hold it a little higher there, Jeff. Not like that, just up. There you go. Thank you. You're doing so well. So this was the first song that I released back in May. It's the one that's been doing well on radio and Spotify. It's called Never Gets Old. 10 years, 6 months, and 3 days since the first time I saw your face. Still remember the first kiss. Look how far we've come since then. Some people think that's a lifetime, but I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause waking up next to you, laying by my side with the sunlight shining in your eyes, no view better than mine on a shotgun Sunday summer drive. You're making me lose control. Love like this never gets old. Been through the motions a million times, but that spark keeps on wanting to shine. It's all the little things you do that make this love feel brand new. Like waking up next to you, laying by my side with the sunlight shining in your eyes, no view better than mine on a shotgun Sunday summer drive. You're making me lose control. Love like this never gets old. No, it never gets old. No, it never gets old.
Everybody, thanks so much for coming tonight. Matt, thank you very much. There's beer, pizza, and Matt will be in the corner signing autographs or taking phone numbers. Everybody have a safe night. If anyone's interested, some of us might be going over to Sugar Run after to the Speakeasy, so if anyone wants to get details on going to the bar. But thanks so much for coming. It means a lot, and we'll see you in January.